Good morning and welcome to the second annual Donate Life Wyoming Scavenger Hunt. My name is Andrea Smith. I'm the Director of Public Relations for Donor Alliance. And for all of you who are well into your scavenger hunt, I'm sure you know exactly who we are and what we're all about. We put on this scavenger hunt event in order to educate and inspire Wyomingites to better understand and ultimately support organ, eye, and tissue donation and transplantation. And I'm so excited to introduce to you this morning to a few folks who have been directly impacted by the gift of life right here in Wyoming. The first of which is an amazing donor mother from Cody, Wyoming, who has volunteered countless hours in honor of her daughter Kathleen, who was able to give the gift of sight and save and heal lives across the globe. So with no further ado, I'll turn it over to you. Welcome and thanks for being here, Pat Thomas.
Hello, my name is Patricia Thomas, and I have been an advocate for organ and tissue donation since I lost my beautiful daughter Kathleen in 2008. One of her corneas was sent to a lady in Japan, and Kaseo wrote us this wonderful letter telling us that she was blind in both eyes, but now she can see clearly in her left eye because of the cornea from America. Ever since receiving that letter, it's been my mission to get everybody in the state of Wyoming to register to be an organ and tissue donor. I took the letter down to the Cody Enterprise, and they did an article regarding organ and tissue donation and Kathleen and Kaseo's story. And I thought to myself, well, if the Cody Enterprise would do it, maybe other newspapers would do it as well. So I sent the information and the letter from Japan to every newspaper in the state of Wyoming, and I was glad when so many of them did articles for me. My husband and I spend the winter in Arizona, and I started writing letters down there as well. And one day, a gentleman from the ABC TV station in Phoenix called. He wanted to come out and interview me for an article on the news that evening. Well, to tell you the truth, I was a wreck, but I did it. And that evening, I told Kathleen and Kaseo's story on Phoenix News, and hopefully some of the folks from Phoenix registered to be an organ donor. I had a wonderful opportunity through the Donor Alliance to ride on the Donate Life float in the Rose Bowl Parade in 2011. I met such wonderful folks on that trip. I celebrated with those who received the gift of life, and I cried with other donor family members, especially other donor moms. When I returned back to Cody, I wanted to bring a little bit of the parade from Pasadena to me, so I decorated the my son's pickup, and we rode in the Stampede Parade in Cody and the Park County Parade in Cody and Powell for several years. I do whatever I can to promote organ and tissue donation, and I hope everybody in the state of Wyoming will register and to tell your family of your decision.
Wow, thanks so much for sharing, Pat. Your advocacy has helped save countless of lives. Kathleen's legacy truly lives on. Thank you for all you do. Now, I'd like to share with you a special mother-daughter duo who will be discussing the impact of organ donation and transplantation on their lives. Melissa Berg is a Casper native, a UW grad, and a 3-time liver transplant recipient. She's joined today by her mother, Sally, and they have a special segment that they want to share with you to talk about how organ donation and transplantation has really changed and saved their lives. So I'll turn it over to Sally and Melissa.
Let's talk about how you became an organ recipient.
When I was 15 years old in the summer of 2006, I became very ill. I was itchy, yellow eyes, was swelling with fluid, and I was sent to Denver Children's Hospital, and I found out that I have autoimmune hepatitis, which is a immune system disorder where my own body's immune system attacks my liver for some reason. We don't know why.
Not a contagious disease.
Not a contagious
autoimmune disease. Yeah.
It's just my body, for some reason, really doesn't like my liver. And so by the time I had gone to Denver Children's Hospital and figured everything out in July 2006, about 3% of my liver was working, was what they said. And so I had initially thought that it would be a few years before I was going to be able to get a transplant. I was going to have to wait. And instead, I was immediately listed and received my first liver transplant on September 1st of 2006. I was in ICU for 28 days. I had gone into end-stage kidney and liver failure. My right lung had collapsed. I had a fungal infection on my lower left ankle because I was so immunocompromised. I had also had to wait 2 weeks for a liver because of the fungal infection. So during that time, I became incredibly, incredibly ill. And when I received my first liver, they put out a nationwide call for any liver of any blood type. And I received the liver, thankfully. But because I was so sick, we think the bile system of that liver didn't work. And so it all closed off, meaning I couldn't digest food. My liver wasn't functioning properly. So I was placed back on the donation or recipient list for an organ in October of 2006. And then I just waited in Denver with my mom while my dad and my sister lived back in Casper. On December 4th, we got the call a liver had come. And so I received my second liver December 5th of 2006. And it was great. I felt good immediately afterwards. There were some complications afterwards. I did have a rejection, which is normal. These steroids I had to take to keep my immune system suppressed caused osteoarthritis in my knees. So there was some significant bone damage there, but I was able to return to high school and go to college with that liver. And then when I was 24, I was getting ready to start a Master's of English program in 2015. And just as the program was starting, I started to get very sick again, had many, many kidney stones, was itchy, not feeling good. And so after a few trips to the hospital, first to deal with the kidney stones, then about the itching, I was on an ambulance to Denver because my liver was not working. And I was placed on the liver transplant list again in November of 2015. And so I received my third liver on September 15th of 2016. And I was very sick when I received it. And so the recuperation was long. Wasn't able to finish the master's program again. But I did go to school a little bit while I was recuperating, just trying to get back to normal life. And it took me probably about 3 years until I started to feel normal again after the liver transplant.
You were tremendously lucky to get a third organ.
Yes.
Tremendously fortunate. And I think when I talk about our experience, the difference between the first go around, it's just it's kind of in your face and, everything you're doing, you're kind of learning and it's all new and it's all, and then that feeling when you get those calls, in our case, calls that organ is there. Oh my gosh, it's just, there are hardly words for it.
It's such a community. It's not just your family. It's your family, your friends, the nurses, the nurse coordinators, the social workers, the doctors, the nurses. It's a community, and Donate Life and Donor Alliance are part of that community, helping support the people, because it is so overwhelming if you don't have support. You have to have support to get through it, and that's what Donate Life and Donor Alliance provide.
And absolutely, none of this can happen. None of these wonderful stories can go on. And nobody gets to continue their life. And that's really what it comes down to. You at 15 would not have gotten to finish your life if somebody hadn't made that decision at the hardest time in their life to follow through with their loved ones' wishes and donate their organs.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's a simple version. Yeah. And 3 times that happened. Yeah.
Very lucky.
Thanks so much, Sally and Melissa, not only for sharing your story with us, but also being a shining example of how to live life to the fullest. Look forward to hearing what's in the next chapter. Now, before you get out there and get to hunting, safely of course, I want to remind you, join us back here tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the ceremonial close of the second annual scavenger hunt, where we're going to do a special bubble release, honoring, recognizing, and celebrating the lives of all of those who have been impacted by organ, eye, and tissue donation and transplantation.